palace ballroom glittered under 1,000 chandeliers, the air thick with the hum of polite conversation and the clink of crystal. Foreign dignitaries, ministers, and aristocrats milled about, their attention fixed on the gilded dais where King Charles stood, steady, composed, every inch the monarch. Behind him, Camilla wore her usual serene smile, though her fingers fidgeted at the edge of her gown. The national anthem swelled, echoing against marble columns. Cameras flashed. A lifetime of royal duty condensed into this one tableau of power and tradition. Then, without warning, Charles faltered. His left hand clutched the podium. His voice, mid-sentence, caught in his throat. Gasps rippled through the crowd. In the next breath, the king's knees buckled, and he crumpled onto the red-carpeted steps. Shouts erupted. Camilla's composure shattered as she lunged forward, calling his name. Security surged in, forming a wall between the royal couple and the stunned assembly. Somewhere in the chaos, a wine glass shattered against the marble. A foreign ambassador whispered urgently into an aide's ear. Within seconds, paramedics, already stationed discreetly nearby, rushed to the king's side. Oxygen mask, vitals check, rapid stretcher lift. His crown lay abandoned on the dais, a silent, glittering witness. News crews outside caught only fragments, flashing ambulance lights, the convoy tearing through the palace gates, the queen consort's pale face in the tinted window. By nightfall, speculation ignited like dry tinder. Was it exhaustion? A hidden illness? Or, more dangerously, a sign the monarchy was about to face a power struggle? Inside the palace, behind locked doors, those questions had already begun to sharpen into something far more perilous. The palace had always been a hive of whispers, but tonight it throbbed with something sharper: ambition. Footmen moved briskly with downcast eyes. Advisors huddled in shadowed alcoves. Every step on the polished floors seemed to echo with a question no one dared speak aloud. What happens if the king doesn't come back? Camilla walked the East Wing's long corridor, her heels a steady metronome. She had already met with 3 senior courtiers, each conversation laced with unspoken terms. Loyalty now would be remembered later. She didn't have to say the words. Her allies understood the stakes. In the small wood-paneled drawing room, she poured herself a glass of sherry and closed the door. From her handbag, she drew an old leather folder, its edges worn. Inside, a photocopy of Diana's last will. Her eyes lingered on the line, "Camilla Parker Bowles shall never hold the title of Queen Consort of the United Kingdom." A younger Camilla, in the flashback, sat at a kitchen table years earlier as a tabloid headline screamed her name. She had survived that storm. She could survive this. The public could be swayed. The law could be bent. But only if she moved quickly, before William or his allies used that clause as a weapon. She snapped the folder shut just as the door creaked open. It was Sir Alan, the Lord Chamberlain. His expression was careful, unreadable. "Sir Alan, Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, Parliament will be expecting a statement by morning. They'll want clarity on the line of succession." Camilla, quietly, but with steel, "Then we'll give them clarity, Alan. The kind that leaves no doubt who stands at the head of this family." He hesitated. "Sir Alan, and the will?" Camilla, meeting his gaze, "No one needs to see that. Not yet." The palace archives were a labyrinth few dared to navigate after dark. Deep below the public floors, past locked iron gates, lay centuries of royal paper trails, marriage contracts, coronation oaths, sealed correspondence. In a narrow room smelling of dust and old leather, Margaret Elwood, the deputy keeper of records, ran her gloved hands along the spines of bound ledgers. She wasn't here for history. She was here for insurance. The request had come indirectly. A note slipped under her office door that morning. "Find Diana's will." The original. Not the copies. No signature, no seal, just those 8 words. After 2 hours of searching, she found it. Cream parchment, edges slightly yellowed, the late princess's unmistakable handwriting looping across the page. Her eyes caught the clause instantly. "Camilla Parker Bowles shall never hold the title of Queen Consort of the United Kingdom." She exhaled, heart pounding. This wasn't a relic. This was a weapon. By midnight, a plain manila envelope was sliding through the slot of a modest flat in East London. Inside, a folded copy of that very clause. Miles away, journalist Oliver Harland stared at the page as if it were gold. For years, he had been sniffing at the edges of royal scandal, but this was the kind of scoop that rewrote careers. Still, the note that came with it chilled him. Time it right. One story can change the crown. The next morning, whispers began surfacing in online forums and fringe outlets. An old will. A hidden clause. A brewing battle. At first, mainstream media dismissed it. But by midday, 3 national papers ran headlines questioning Camilla's legitimacy. Hashtags exploded. Outside the palace, a small crowd of protesters gathered, holding signs with Diana's photograph. Inside, Camilla stood at a window, watching them. Her knuckles whitened around a teacup. Lady Fiona, her aide, "Ma'am, the BBC is requesting a live response. They've mentioned the will." Camilla, turning slowly, "Then they've drawn first blood. Now we see how far they're willing to go." The private audience chamber was meant for quiet counsel, but tonight it felt like a battleground. Heavy velvet curtains muted the sound of rain against the palace windows. William stood rigid, hands clasped behind his back, his reflection in the glass a soldier king in waiting. Harry lingered near the fireplace, shoulders tense, his eyes tracking the flames. "William, you've seen the clause, Harry. This isn't about opinion. It's our mother's will. Her words. Her wish." Harry, measured, "I'm not saying she was wrong. But tearing Camilla down now, when Dad's in a hospital bed. You know what that will look like to the world." William, turning sharply, "I don't care how it looks. The monarchy's legitimacy depends on honoring the truth. If we ignore it, we betray her." Harry's jaw tightened. He stepped closer. "Harry, and if you push too hard, you risk fracturing the crown from within. Parliament's already restless. The press is circling like vultures. This isn't a game of purity, Will, it's survival." Silence stretched. In the distance, the faint toll of Big Ben marked the hour. William, quiet, cold, "Survival at the cost of our mother's name isn't survival. It's surrender." Harry, lowering his voice, "Sometimes surrender is the only way to keep the war from burning everything down." Their eyes locked. 2 brothers, 2 visions of the same throne. From the hallway, muffled voices drifted in, aides discussing the possibility of a regency, MPs whispering about constitutional crisis. The sound was like a drumbeat of inevitability. Lady Fiona, entering hurriedly, "Princes, there's been another leak. Not just the will. Medical reports. The king's condition, it's worse than anyone's been told." The rain had stopped by dawn, but the air over London still felt heavy, charged. Inside Buckingham Palace, the grand corridors seemed narrower than ever, thick with aides, ministers, and silent, watchful guards. The king's physicians had briefed the Prime Minister privately. The news was grim. His Majesty would not return to public duty. By midday, the Privy Council gathered in the Crimson Drawing Room, the air thick with polished wood and tension. Camilla arrived flanked by loyalists, her pearl necklace gleaming under the chandeliers. Camilla, addressing the council, "For the stability of the realm, the monarchy must present one clear face. My husband's choice was clear, his queen by his side, in title and in truth." Murmurs swept through the room. Some nodded. Others avoided her eyes. Across town, in a buzzing newsroom, Oliver Harland's hands shook as he hit "send" on his article. The will, Princess Diana's will, was now public, in full. The clause about Camilla was front-page material. Within an hour, every television channel ran the headline. Crowds swelled outside the palace gates. Some held Diana's photograph aloft, others chanted, "No Queen Camilla." Social media erupted. Politicians, sensing the public mood, began calling for a suspension of the coronation process until all constitutional matters were resolved. In the palace war room, William read the headlines with clenched fists. Harry stood beside him, his face unreadable. Camilla entered, meeting William's gaze head-on. "Camilla, if you block me, you weaken the monarchy in its most vulnerable hour. Is that what you want?" William, quietly, "I want the truth. Even if it breaks us." A horn sounded outside, loud, insistent. The brothers moved to the window. The crowd below had doubled, now spilling into the mall, torches and candles flickering in the dusk. The gates began to swing shut. Cameras flashed like lightning. The nation held its breath. A voiceover cut through the scene, Oliver Harland reading the last line of his article. The question is no longer who will wear the crown, but whether Britain will accept the head it rests upon.